Let's be honest, his kids make us look better, my mom said, flipping through the Disneyland photos. The trip I paid for. But it wasn't my kid in those pictures. It was my brother's kids. He took them to Disneyland, not us. I let them smile for the camera. But when they came back, the magic was gone. She talked so casually, like this was all just some business plan. Like my daughter Tessa wasn't sitting right next to me watching picture after picture. None with her in it. They're just more photogenic, Mom added with a smile, sipping her tea. And they behave better in public. You know how Tessa gets. I looked at Tessa. She was still holding the sparkly Minnie Mouse backpack she picked out 6 months ago, for the trip we were supposed to go on. Her smile was gone. Instead, her face showed quiet confusion, that look only kids get when they know something's wrong but don't understand why. I thought we were all going, Tessa whispered softly. I didn't answer. Because I thought so too. 3 months ago, Mom called me saying she wanted to do something special for the grandkids. I just gotten my holiday bonus. She asked if I could help with the cost. I said yes, of course. I sent the money that same night. Tickets, hotel, everything. She said it was a surprise for all the kids. 2 weeks later she called again, said there weren't enough rooms. Next time, she promised. I believed her. I even told Tessa it was okay that we'd go later. That maybe Grandma just wanted to spend time with the others first. But I didn't know they went without her. Not until I saw the first photo online. There they were. My brother's kids, Landon and Mia, standing in front of Sleeping Beauty's castle. Dad in Mickey ears. Mom holding a churro as big as her face. Caption, Family Magic. I stared at the screen for a whole minute, not believing what I saw. Maybe they photoshopped it? Maybe it was a stock image? No. They really went. Without Tessa. Without me. And I paid for it all. You know, Landon and Mia are just easier, Mom said, setting her phone down. They don't whine. They don't overreact. Tessa blinked fast, looking up at me. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I didn't throw the mug like I wanted to. I just stood there feeling nothing. Because when you give your money, your time, your trust, and they still pick someone else, that's when the magic dies. They came back with souvenirs. But they left the hurt behind. And this wasn't the first time they treated Tessa like she didn't exist. It started years ago. Small things. Birthday cards that got lost. Christmas gifts that were left behind. My brother's kids? Bikes. Tablets. Tessa? A $10 gift card and a plastic bracelet from the dollar store. She's not as close to us, Mom once said. You live farther. It's hard to bond. We live 30 minutes away. I should have known better. But I kept giving. Kept showing up. Kept paying. When my brother lost his job, guess who covered his mortgage? When Mia needed braces, guess who helped with the deposit? And Disneyland? That wasn't the start. That was the moment they stopped hiding it. I didn't grow up rich. I worked hard for everything I have. 2 jobs. No vacations. Saving every penny. I built a life for Tessa and me after her mom walked out. I promised Tessa she'd never feel left out. But around my family she always was. And I was always expected to pay for it all. You're doing well, Mom would say. You can afford it, my brother added. It's not like you've got a wife to spend it on. That one hurt more than I'd admit. Yes, I could afford it, barely. But every time I helped, another little piece of me cracked. Mom was an expert at guilt. We're getting older. We just want the kids to have memories. You wouldn't let your niece and nephew miss out, would you? But it was never about memories. It was about control. Image. Power. My brother, Darren, played his part. Lazy but charming. Always broke. Always trying. He'd show up in fancy sneakers, then ask me after dinner, "Think you can cover the electric bill? Things are tight." And I always said yes. Because if I didn't, I was selfish. Not a team player. Family comes first. Unless it was about my daughter. Then family forgot her name. A week before Disneyland, I saw Tessa drawing a picture for Grandma. Her and her cousins on roller coasters holding hands. She folded it and asked me to mail it. I did. It never made it to Grandma's fridge. When I asked about it, Mom said, "Oh, that thing? I think I tossed it." Didn't know what it was. He tossed it. Tessa's face didn't change. But that night I saw the same picture redrawn taped to her wall. "I'll keep it," she whispered. Since Grandma didn't want it. I wanted to burn the whole fridge down. But the worst part came a week after the trip. I was still pretending maybe this was all a mistake. Maybe Mom would explain. Maybe apologize. We went to Sunday dinner. I brought Tessa. Hoping. Instead, Mom looked at Tessa, then at my brother. She's looking thin, she said. You should have seen how healthy Mia looked in those Disneyland pictures. The camera loved her. Then she laughed, right in front of us. Tessa stayed quiet. She just picked at her food. I clenched my jaw so hard it made my head hurt. And Darren? He couldn't help himself. Well, Mia does have that glow, he smirked like it was some inside joke. That's when something in me changed. It didn't happen loudly. No big scene. But inside. I snapped. A cold, quiet kind of anger. The kind that doesn't go away. They thought I'd stay quiet like always. Take the insult. Pay the bills. Smile and nod. But not this time. It all happened over meatloaf. Just another Sunday dinner. The last one I would ever show up for. The moment Tessa and I walked in, I felt it. My mom gave us a cold nod. My dad didn't even look away from the TV. Darren, already halfway through his meal, laughing with my mom. Nobody greeted Tessa. Nobody pulled out a chair for her. I did it myself. We sat. We ate in silence. They talked around us like we weren't there. No one asked about school. No one asked how we were. They didn't ask anything. Then my mom smiled sweetly across the table and said it. You know, I still can't believe how well Darren's kids handled Disneyland. They just shine in big crowds. Tessa gets so overwhelmed. I put my fork down slowly. What did you just say? I asked. My mom blinked like I wasn't supposed to react. I'm just saying she's sensitive. Some kids aren't made for big trips. It would have been too much for her. That trip wasn't for everyone. Tessa stared at her plate. Her little hand clenched her fork tight. Darren laughed. Well, it's not like she missed much. We had a blast without all that extra drama. That was it. That was my breaking point. I stood up so fast my chair slammed into the wall. Tessa flinched. My voice stayed low, but it was sharp. You think this is funny? Darren raised his eyebrows. Relax, man. We're just saying. No. You're making fun of my kid. A child who was promised a trip. A child who's drawing you through away. My mom opened her mouth. I didn't. Don't lie, I snapped. Tessa saw it. In the trash. You didn't even pretend to care. Lower your voice, my dad grumbled. No, I said, stepping back from the table. No more pretending. No more smiling while you insult us. You're overreacting, Darren rolled his eyes. I walked around the table until I stood behind him. I paid for your mortgage, your vacation, your car battery. You've never once said thank you. Darren stood up, trying to look tough. No one asked you to play the hero. You chose that. You're right, I said. And I chose wrong. I turned to my mom. You always say family helps family. Where were you when I was raising Tessa alone? When I skipped meals so she could have shoes? Where were you then? We offered, she snapped. You didn't take it. You offered nothing but judgment. My dad stood now, frustrated. This is ridiculous. We're trying to have a nice dinner. You had your dinner, I said. You had your Disneyland trip. You had your fake happy family moment. I looked around the table. It's over. I took Tessa's hand. We're leaving. Darren laughed under his breath. You'll be back. You always come back. I turned to him. Not this time. I pulled a folder from my jacket and dropped it on the table. My mom flinched. What's that? Receipts, I said. Every dollar I've paid. Every favor. A copy goes to my lawyer Monday, in case you come asking for more. Darren stepped forward. You're threatening us? No, I said. I'm protecting my daughter. I looked at my mom. And if you ever tell Tessa she's not good enough again. I leaned in close. I'll make sure you never get near her again. Then I walked out. With my daughter. With my pride. With nothing left to give, and no plans to ever come back. The silence after we left was louder than any shouting. For 2 days. Nothing. No calls. No texts. No guilt trips. And honestly, it felt like breathing after drowning. That night I took Tessa for ice cream. We sat on a park bench, the wind playing with her ponytail as she picked sprinkles off her cone. Are we ever going back? She asked. I looked at her. The freckles on her nose, the little scar on her chin from her scooter fall. The bravest, kindest heart I knew, asking if we had to see those people again. No, I said. We're not. And I meant it. For once I didn't care what it cost me. But they couldn't stay quiet forever. On the third day it started. First, a cold text from my dad. We need to talk. Come to dinner. I ignored it. Then my mom called. Her voice fake sweet. You overreacted. That dinner was supposed to bring us closer. You embarrassed everyone. I hung up. She called again. And again. By the fifth call her voice changed. I didn't mean what I said about Tessa. I was tired. You know how I get when I'm tired. But you walking out. After everything we've done for you. I almost laughed. Same old tricks. The fake guilt. The fake sadness. Then Darren texted. So this is it? You ghost your family over a tantrum? Grow up. Another text. Mom cried all day. Hope you're happy. And finally. We were counting on you for the June trip. The kids don't understand why Uncle Matt disappeared. I replied to that one. Good. Let them feel it. A week passed. Then every morning I expected to wake up feeling guilty. But it never came. Instead I felt peace. Tessa smiled more. Asked more questions. Slept better. She didn't ask about her cousins. One night she asked to go to the bookstore. We bought 5 books, hot chocolate and a new notebook for her spells. We were making our own memories. Real ones. Not forced. Not fake. But peace always comes with a price. It was mid-April when my mom showed up at my job. I walked out for lunch and saw her standing in the lobby, hair done perfectly, clutching her purse like it was her lifeline. Her eyes were red, not from crying but from pure anger. I need 5 minutes, she said, teeth clenched. No, I replied, stepping past her. She grabbed my arm. I stopped. Do you even realize what you're doing to this family? She hissed. You're tearing everything apart. Over what? A Disneyland trip. I turned and looked her straight in the eye. No, I said. Over a lifetime of being treated like nothing but a walking wallet. Over you making my child feel invisible. Over hearing you say my brother's kids look better than mine. People around us started staring. My mom's voice dropped low. You're making a scene. I leaned in closer. You haven't seen a scene yet. But keep pushing me, and I'll give you one that makes Christmas dinner look like a church gathering. She flinched like I slapped her. I raised you better than this, she whispered. No, I said calmly. You raised Darren. I survived. And I walked away. A few days later I got an email from a shared account with my parents and Darren. Subject: Family discussion. It was a PDF. A spreadsheet. They listed every dollar I had ever given them. They even called it joint support contributions. At the bottom a note. We believe it's time to set clear expectations. We suggest a monthly payment plan so everything is organized moving forward. I stared at the screen stunned. They weren't apologizing. They were sending me a bill, like I was their employee or customer. I replied with one sentence. My only contribution now is distance. Go ahead and invoice that. Then I blocked their numbers, emails, everything. A week later there was an envelope in my mailbox. No name. Just my address. Inside, printed photos from the Disneyland trip. Darren and his kids with Mickey-shaped balloons. My mom hugging Mia. A full family photo, except for a blank space where Tessa and I should have been. On the back my mom's handwriting. This could have been us. I grabbed my lighter, stepped outside and burned every photo. Tessa watched from the window and smiled. A month later the last message came. From Darren's wife, Natalie. She hardly ever spoke to me. It was a picture. Mia and Landon in front of a homemade cake. Messy frosting, no decorations. Caption: It's not the same without you. I looked at it for a second, then deleted it. They finally felt it, the hole I left behind. For years I carried their weight. No, it was on them. And it was heavy. Funny thing about silence, it grows on you. No more fake family dinners. No cold stares. No being expected to show up with a smile in my wallet. No. My weekends belong to me and Tessa. We've been building our own life, quietly, just us. No Disneyland. But last Saturday we went to the lake. Just the two of us. He brought a book. I packed sandwiches. She read out loud while ducks chased crumbs. After a while she looked at me and said, "This is better than any castle." I couldn't speak. My throat was tight. Because for the first time I knew she wasn't trying to make me feel better. He meant it. She didn't need fairy tale castles or fireworks. She just needed her dad. And now she had him. Do I regret walking away? Not for a second. Let them call me cold. Let them say I abandoned them. Truth is, they should be thankful I didn't walk away sooner. For years I gave them everything, hoping they'd notice Tessa. Hoping they'd care. But here's the truth. You can't buy love from people who never wanted you. They didn't care about me. They cared about what I could give them. And when I stopped giving, the fake family act crumbled. Sometimes late at night I still get texts from hidden numbers. Dad's not well. Mia cried again. You're destroying this family. I don't even react anymore. They're like mosquitoes on a windshield. Annoying but harmless. Because I know the truth. It's not love. It's not guilt. It's panic. They finally realized their free ATM is gone. And they don't know what to do. There's no replacement. I was the last fool willing to carry them. No. I'm done giving too much. Last week, Tessa came home holding a wrinkled paper from school. Class project, draw your family. She handed it to me with a shy smile. It showed me and her under a big blue tent under a tree. A campfire. Marshmallows. A book. Underneath, in her crooked writing. Me and Dad, this is my safe place. I stared at that paper for a long time. I knew deep down I did the right thing. I chose her. Not my mom. Not my brother. Not their fake smiles or staged family photos. I chose the only person who truly sees me, and loves me anyway. I framed her drawing. Hung it right where the old family photo used to be. That one. That one is real. Let them keep Disneyland. We've got something better. Peace. Freedom. And each other. And this time, no one is taking that away from us. Update. Answering Reddit after the fallout. Hey Reddit, I didn't expect my post to blow up. I just needed to vent. But your responses gave me more than I expected. Clarity. Support. And a reminder that I'm not alone. For the kind words, thank you. Tessa read some of your comments. She smiled. That meant everything. A few things people asked. You were too harsh. Maybe. But I stayed quiet for years. Paid for everything. Hoped they'd notice Tessa. They didn't. Sometimes silence becomes a cage. I broke it. Still your family. It was. But they treated me like an ATM and Tessa like a shadow. Blood doesn't excuse cruelty. Respect does. They lost both. You could have handled it better. Probably. But they crossed every line first. I didn't snap over one comment. I snapped after 10 years of being used. I chose boundaries. I chose my daughter. For anyone going through something similar, you're not selfish for walking away. You're not wrong for protecting your peace. You're not just a wallet with feelings. You're a person. And you're allowed to stop giving to people who only take. Tessa and I? We're good. Really good. She drew a picture of us under a tree by a campfire. Underneath it said, "This is my safe place." And that's the only family photo I'll ever need again.